Here's as we haven't been on for a while, so I like looking at the news of the bizarre, and this is actually a very bad story. But Dave is very, like a lot of our listeners, a lot of our viewers, in tuned with wrestling, not only of the present but the past. The one thing about people who like wrestling as a sport, they don't just know it on a surface level. Like if you like wrestling, Dave, you could probably tell me from the moment that you were a certain age till now almost every match you've ever seen. There was a guy back in the 80s. Now, in the WWF, he went by the name Tom McGee.
Okay.
So Tom McGee is a name that probably doesn't even resonate because he's just one of the many that would go in there.
Is he related to Tits?
That's his distant cousin.
Okay.
Tits McGee.
Tits McGee, yeah.
Well, he probably wishes he was Tits McGee now because I got to be honest, this does not end well. And here's the thing. So the guy's now in, his 60s or whatever he is, and he's been through, if you were a wrestler in the 80s, the 60s don't look good.
No, they don't.
And they especially don't look good when you work for the neighborhood watch and there's like 6 or 7 guys apparently parking where they weren't supposed to. Now, I know you got thrown around a lot, and probably steroids have done things to your thinking patterns. Stay in the house. You don't really need to fight at 2 o'clock in the morning with 7 guys because of a parking issue. Well, he does. And Tom McGee is beaten so badly, just so you know, it's a little graphic when they're just going to show a picture of his face. But this is what human beings did to another guy over a parking issue. This comes from what station is that there, Devin? What? KTEL 9. This is in Los Angeles. Here is that story.
Warn you that this story has some images that can be disturbing.
And it is. There he is.
265 pounds, Tom McGee.
YouTube video showing Tom McGee in 1988. Neighbors say he was a professional wrestler for the WWF, a true Goliath in the ring, later becoming a neighborhood watchdog.
Tom came out and encountered the young men, and it proceeded to a fight.
This is the aftermath.
Look at that.
Suffered a broken jaw, broken eye socket, and concussion.
It was sort of a conflict over who's allowed to park in this spot.
This neighbor was a witness to the attack. She didn't want to show her face on camera, but describes the horrendous scene.
Literally kicking him and punching him in the face and in the head.
She says 6 men were involved, and when neighbors started to come outside, they took off. When they rushed
of course they did.
Tom, she says he was incoherent.
It was attempted murder. If we wouldn't have come out here, I don't know if he would be alive. To look at his face, if you saw his face right now and saw what they were doing to him, he's really lucky to be alive.
I reached out to LAPD, and they tell me robbery detectives are investigating. And just this afternoon, 2 men were taken into custody. They are 20-year-old Justin Lee and 20-year-old DeGreat Bryant, both booked on assault with a deadly weapon. A sense of relief for neighbors, not only for their own safety, but to show their watchdog they too have his back.
What? We just become best friends? Yep.